Welcome everyone to the very first of our Student Voice podcasts. We're hoping to do these twice a trimester, so you'll be seeing our faces plenty. And really the goal here is we want to help guide you guys and support your success here at Torrens as a student. And I'm joined by the lovely Josephine. Oh no, we can't hear you.
Hello?
There we go.
Okay, nice. I'll start that all over again.
We want to hear you, Josephine.
Mistake.
Thank you. We want to hear you.
All right. So anyway, hi. My name is Josephine. I'm the Student Engagement Coordinator at Torrens University. So pretty much my work revolves around student community. So that includes national day trips, fun and social events, which are kind of smaller social touch points throughout the trimesters. Also the podcast, student newsletter, things like that.
And the beautiful Lamb. Would you like to give an introduction as well?
Okay, hello everyone. So my name is Lam and I'm currently doing Master of Business Information System at Torrens University. I'm also a student experience ambassador for Torrens Global Education. And nice to meet you guys today, and thanks for having me.
Awesome. And we don't want to forget lovely Natalie.
Hi everyone, my name is Ahmad. I am a success coach with the business faculty and I'm also a alumni. I studied Bachelor of Business at Torrens.
And Bibek over on Student Services.
Hi, my name is Bibek. So I'm currently working with the Student Service Advisor in Torrens University. So I was also studied Masters of Professional Accounting. And here I am for the podcast. And thank you very much for this one.
Jess isn't with us today because of some technical difficulties, but you will see her next time. And last but not least, Evan.
Thanks, Ahmed. Lovely to be in such esteemed company. My name is Evan. I'm the president of the SRC in Adelaide. And I'm also the student mentor for the Business Success Coach team. So I work very closely with the lovely Natalie. And I think we do a great job, Natalie.
I think you do as well.
Yeah, thank you.
I suppose I should quickly introduce myself as well. I'm Ahmad. I'm the Vice President of the Ultimo SRC. But let's kick off with you, Evan. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you wish you knew before starting here?
You know, when I came back to university last year, there's a lot of things that we get told, you know, how to use Blackboard or all that sort of stuff, which is important, right? It's important. There's a lot of things that we don't get told. And I think that these sort of 7 or 8 tips that I've got are probably going to help you, the students, all of us, in our learning journey, right? So we get to where we want to get quicker and we familiarise ourselves with campus life and understand how we can be better involved and better engaged with campus. So one of the things that I do, and it might be a little bit squarish, right? But when I find out who my lecturers are, I get onto LinkedIn and I research them, right? I want to know who you are. I want to know what you've done, where you've worked, what your experience is, because I want to, in my classes, try and engage with my lecturers in a way where I can get value out of them a little bit more than just the normal.
I do exactly the same thing.
Let's just
I don't feel like a stalker now.
Yeah, I mean, you can get...
if you do it too.
It's not, well, I don't really think it's stalking. I don't know. It's LinkedIn. When it's LinkedIn, it's not
public,
quite stalking.
yeah.
I think when it's Facebook, it might be a little bit. It's public, exactly. Because the lecture slides are easy. You know, you get lecture slides. Anyone can just read lecture slides. But I want to find out a bit more about why you're so good at your job. I want to find out what experience you're going to bring to the job and how I can benefit from that. Right? I want to sap as much knowledge out of you as I possibly can. So that's one thing that I always do. Also, I think if you're an online student, if you're a face-to-face student, it's important to find out where your classrooms are. I know that might seem a little bit, silly as well, but come into campus before your first class, right? Either it's early in the day or the week before. Familiarise yourself with your campus. Walk around. Learn where the toilets are. Learn where the classrooms are. Learn where the student services desk is. Learn where everything is. So you know that when your first day, you can be right there straight away in your class straight away. So you know where everything is. I think it's important. And whilst you're on campus, I think it's important, and even if you're an online student, if you have access to your local campus, it's really important to engage in campus life. We have so many activities going on. Obviously, we're all SRC, so we're going to promote the SRC. We do a wonderful job engaging with students, but it's really important to try and engage with campus life, right? Get to know your campus director. Get to know the student services people. Someone like Bibek, right, in Brisbane. Get to know who he is. So when you see him, hi, Bibek, how are you? Oh, okay, doing really well. Try and immerse yourself in campus life. It's not just about being stuck at home online. Even if you're an online student, I think it's really important to come into campus and just experience that sort of uni vibe as well. One thing I did as well when I first started, I made this little rule and I said to myself, I'm going to introduce myself to one new person every week. Total random stranger, right? So I'll be walking around on campus. Yep, that person, right? Hi, my name's Evan. I'm doing business. What are you doing? Oh, I'm doing nursing. Great. And I've met 3 or 4 wonderful people in the time that I've been here who I still am close with, and we go out with coffee and stuff. And they really appreciated it, and I really appreciated it. You know, some of them were international students. They didn't know anyone. They're looking a little bit lost. So I think it's really good to try and introduce yourself to someone new. And it might be in your classroom. It might just be, you know what, I might pick that person, right? Or it could just be someone that you're looking a little bit lost, walking around. Just go and say hello. I think it's important. When you're in class, online classes especially, obviously for online classes, don't be afraid to turn your camera on, right? Every now and again. It's not a beauty competition, so don't worry. If you know your hair's not done, it's okay. You'll be very, very surprised at how much more you learn and how better engaged you are in your class if your camera's turned on. You don't have to say anything necessarily, but just turn your camera on. Look at your lecturer. Let people look at you. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's all about interactivity and getting to know your classmates, right? So don't be afraid to turn your camera on. Group work is one of those things that always it frustrates people. How do you manage a group of 5 or 6 people when you're all in different locations around the place? One thing I always do, set up a little social media group, WhatsApp, whatever you want to use, doesn't really matter. Get to know one another. Don't talk about work. Don't talk about uni for the first, week or so. Introduce yourselves. This is what I like to do in my spare time. Here's a picture of me playing golf. I like to go to the beach. This is the book that I'm reading at the moment. Try and engage and get to know the students in your group outside of university. Set up an informal coffee chat on Zoom, right? Whatever. Let's all have a coffee today at 3 o'clock, have a drink. Let's chat and get to know one another. So when it comes time to actually do the assessment, read the brief, divvy up who's doing what, you already know each other and you can work out people's strengths and people's positives and how they work really well, and try and divvy up responsibilities that way. I think that works really, really well as well. And I think, and one last thing I've got to say, the study success workshops are very underutilized, I think, in our library. We have these incredible study success workshops that teach you all about everything you ever want to do at university. It is difficult sometimes to go from writing a reflective piece to writing a report. Sometimes it's very difficult to write a reflective report. People think, oh, it's easy, I just write what I think. It's not just about writing what you think. These workshops are 20 minutes, half an hour. They are succinct. They are delivered by professionals. They will teach you exactly how to write the report that you need to write for your assessment. So it's really important. Please go to the library, look at the study success workshops. If you don't know how to write an introduction, you don't know how to write an executive summary, you don't know how to write a conclusion, there's workshops just on writing executive summaries, right? Which people always struggle with. So please try and attend them. Engage with the services that the library has, because you will be very surprised at how much better your report writing and your assessments become. So they are my little quirky little tips that might not be the stuff that we get told, but that's what really improved my my relationship with people on campus and what makes me want to come to uni every day.
I really want to comment on what you were saying to do with introducing yourself to a new person every week, because you'll be quite surprised. Everyone at university is desperate to make friends too, like just as much as you are.
Yes.
So
I have no friends in life. So for me, it is very important to put myself out there and go, please, anyone, please be my friend. So it's very important. Yeah. And, seeing the look on someone's face sometimes, and it's not a look of horror, people, so don't assume that it is. The look on someone's face when you go, hi, my name is, this is what I'm doing, and they actually sincerely are grateful for the attention, for the time that you've taken. And it makes you feel really good, right? For me, I feel great after I do it. And I've met some wonderful people.
I wanted to talk to you as well about how you try and balance work and study. Because obviously study is quite a full-time load.
Yeah. Well, I sleep for 11 minutes a day and drink a lot of coffee in between. Look, I was having this conversation with one of our leaders in our team only a little while ago, and I said, I think when you find something that you're passionate about, you will find time to do it, right? If you are not impassioned to study, if there is something that's making you not want to study and you continually procrastinate, then you need to find what it is about your study that you're not enjoying. If you're not enjoying the classes, right, go to a different class. If you're not enjoying the face-to-face content, go online, right? Speak with your success coach. It is so important to have these chats with your success coach because they can also assist you in developing study timetables, work-life balance and all that. But for me, I choose subjects that I want to learn, that I know nothing about. Not things that I'm sort of interested in, I know nothing about. Because if I know nothing about them, then I'll want to learn more about them. That's the sort of person I am, right? So there's no point picking things that I'm already very good at. That's not why I'm at university. I want to learn different stuff. So pick things that I'm interested in, that makes me want to study. Turning my camera on makes me want to contribute in class. That makes me want to go to university. That makes me want to put the hours in. That makes me want to study, right? And trying to find that balance between work and life, it can be very difficult, but you just need to be I am a very disciplined person. Not everyone is very disciplined, but I'm very disciplined. I've got a very strict timetable. I sit there and I say, Thursday is my day off. I do not do any university on Thursday, and I won't. Right? I only study between 3 to 5 o'clock on a Friday, and that's it. And I won't. I'm very strict with my timetable. So, but I think, Ahmed, the key definitely is you need to find your passion. If you're not passionate about something, then you will look for every single excuse under the sun to get away from it, and you will always win. You will always progress. So just find your passion. I think it's important to
set those sort of goals and milestones for yourself of what you're working towards, whether it be, I want to, let's say I want to open up my own business one day. And that goal doesn't necessarily have to stay the same. A lot of times when we're setting goals, we procrastinate setting the goal because we're like, if I set my goal to this, now I have to commit to this goal.
Yeah.
Nothing about that. Every goal that you set is just about motivating you until you think of a new one, to keep you pushing you forward.
Exactly.
So it might be for me, I want to work in an agency, so I'll do all the things that are necessary to prepare myself for that. Whatever your guiding light needs to be.
You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And I think that's very important. Right? You have to start somewhere if you want to be good at something. But you don't have to be good just to
start.
The sad
truth is most of us will be starting from the bottom. I mean, when I started here, I had no experience in what I embarked on, a Bachelor of Web Design. I haven't designed a single website in my life. And the fact of the matter is, the first 100 things you do will probably be shit. But the good news is that none of it's for nothing. That's how you get there.
Absolutely. And Ahmed, you're one of those creative people I know. Anyone who can manage that incredible hair that you do so beautifully all the time, you're very creative. Very creative. You do a wonderful job.
Well, you touched on some of the awesome academic success workshops that we have, which is a lovely segue into Natalie, who's going to talk to us about some of the awesome Success Coach resources that are available to you guys.
Thank you, Ahmad. And I mean, look, what a tough act to follow with Evan. I think you can very clearly see how and why Evan is a mentor within our Success Coach team. And look, a lot of the work that he's doing is fantastic. And he, a lot of the points that he touched on, I think, as you said, Ahmad, are a great segue into me speaking about success coaches. And I mean, to even sort of piggyback on one of the points that Evan just made, I think speaking about passion and having an interest in what you like doing is an area that as success coaches, we really like to look into with the students. And even the comment that Evan touched on with LinkedIn, it's quite funny actually, because it just made me think about my own LinkedIn and the fact that on my LinkedIn banner, I have one of my favorite quotes, which is, do what you love and success will follow. And I think there's a lot to that, right? I mean, even with Torrens having our mission statement of do what you love, right? And I think for us as success coaches, it's really a matter of giving the students that support to really platform that. And for myself, coming into this role as an alumni as well, I can really both appreciate and understand the stress that students go through. And even with looking at my own experience, success coaches weren't around when I was a student, right? And looking at now the fact that every student has that one support person to really encourage them and, get them through their study experience is such a fantastic resource. And I think a little bit like a lot of the fantastic resources we do have at the uni, I think it is somewhat underutilized. And one point that I really wanted to sort of make and take this opportunity to do before we really talk about some specific services is actually where to find the success coaches on the hub. I think the Student Hub is one of those sites where it is so great, but it is really hard to find so many things. And if I had $1 for every time I explained to students where we were, I'd, be able to open a business. So if I may start with that, I just wanted to put it out there. So on the hub, the success coaches, we actually live in the student life tab. So if students go onto the hub, they click on student life, then they click on services. That's where they'll find the success coaches. And all of us across the different faculties, there is a different page for each group there. And that's where the students will then be able to find out what is going on every trimester. So, and I mean, in looking at business, hospitality, design, and health, one area that all the success coaches put a lot of time and energy into is drop-in sessions. And this is something that Evan is also familiar with because we're lucky to have him involved in some of the drop-in sessions that we run for business. But across all the faculties, we provide the ability for students to come and meet with us, and you can speak about anything from resume development to goal setting and time management. In the business faculty, we also run employability workshops in looking at what trends are coming up in the workplace in Australia and how to also structure your resume and your LinkedIn to support that in terms of looking at your career journey. And I know that in design, they also run some as well. I'm sure you can speak on that, probably Ahmad as well, with your own student experience. But look, even though we all sort of tap into slightly different areas, it comes back to really just supporting student growth and development. Right. And I think it's such a fantastic resource because it really looks at, I guess, the gaps, if you will, that you don't necessarily get in your academic subjects. Because I think what Torrens does really well is we acknowledge the importance of smart skills and soft skills. Right. So we are looking at, okay, how can we prepare our students for a career so that they leave us not only with skills and qualifications in their area of interest, but also with the skills that they are confident in presenting themselves in an interview or how to network with industry to evolve their goal, as you touched on, Ahmed. So, yeah, look, I mean, in a nutshell, I guess, that's really what we do. But there are many different subsections that we sort of delve into as well. It's very case by case for students. I mean, I myself, I look after undergraduate students. And I mean, if I sort of give you a little insight into what my day looks like, I can be doing mixtures of resume reviews, looking at course progression and elective selections with students. I am also involved in the employability workshops. So we look at interview skills and how to structure your LinkedIn. And sometimes it's even just having a chat with some students who might be struggling with managing work and study, like Evan touched on. We understand that that's a really difficult thing to do within yourself. And sometimes it's just wanting to chat to someone and express your concerns and work out, okay, is there something that I could be doing slightly differently? Should I look into a calendar, or do I need to adjust my schedule? Do I, need to look at maybe adjusting my study load or my workload? So yeah, really there's so many different things that we tap into, but it just all streams back to really just supporting student success.
And I mean, even touching on, you were talking about all the wonderful things that the success coaches run to help prepare you for your career. We do have short courses that are available to students for free. And I don't know how many people know about these, but they're actually really cool. I've done one myself, and you can just do them online. Again, you can find those on the Student Hub under courses and then short courses. And you get the digital badge as well. So they're really cool. I recommend doing those.
Yeah, definitely. Look, that's such a good point, right? And again, it comes back to filling those little soft skill gaps, right? And the fact that Torrens make those available to the students, you can understand why we have such a high success rate with graduate employment, right? Because the students are really given that holistic, I guess, access to resources. So I would, definitely second that. I'd really encourage students to look at those short courses on offer, particularly as we're heading into that term break. I mean, look, I'm a little bit like Evan in that I'm sure everyone else here, I'm very passionate about study. And when I look at the 2-month break, my first thought is, okay, what can I do with this time? You know? And look, obviously taking a break and, you know, really having a mental reset is super important. But I would, definitely encourage students to actually think about, okay, how can I actually use this time to upskill myself? And those short courses, Ahmad, are a great way to do that.
Outside of study success, I'm sure that there are plenty of other questions that you guys get asked, Bibek, in regards to your role at Student Services. So I'd love to hear from you what some of the top student inquiries are that you get from people.
Thank you, Ahmed, for that. So I have prepared some of the list being frequently asked with us at Student Services Desk. So, you know, starting with, firstly, with the email and the account setup, and help with the Blackboard, like how we navigate with the Blackboard, and student portal. So we give them a trip around the Blackboard, student portal, and student hub. You know, all the information can be found in the student hub. Another thing is regarding with the subject selection. So we have found like confusions in the students that enrollment and the subject selection like are two different things, because they come with us like, oh, I have enrolled for subject, I have enrolled for subject, you know, they keep on saying that, but the enrollment and the subject selection like are two different things. Then we assist them with just checking with their enrollment has been fixed or not, and then we assist them with the subject selection as per the course instructor and guidelines. So another thing is with the student ID card and the concession that is concerned with that one, you know, the frequently asked questions. And we have also come up with another question is like, what are the services available with the campus, like Success Coach, counseling, you know, student well-being, as I have already mentioned about subject selection as well. Another thing I would like to speak is for different support, like students come with us asking like how I can get support from, you know, regarding our like course subject. So we just guide them to reach out to the Success Coach. Like any queries regarding with their, you know, the subjects, they need to reach out their class lecturers. And some of the guidelines need to be taken to the program director as well. So we are there for like every queries, and we just try our best to keep them and provide the best guidance that we can provide them. And one of the most important thing I would like to add is like to students, like, you know, you have to talk, you have to speak regarding your queries, problems, because there's always a solution. And the best advice to them from my side is like, get out of your comfort zone and, you know, like talk to the people, like anyone from SRC, anyone from the student services, like Success Coach, your classmates, teachers, you know. So yeah, that would be one of my best advice, like get out of your comfort zone and get those things done.
Well, the great thing is, people like Bibek, you're paid to answer these questions for students. So if anyone has them, it's your job. So they're helping you out as much as they're helping themselves. Especially in regards to a couple of those you mentioned, email and the ID card and concession card deal. Can you run us through, for example, for email, what do students need to do to make sure that's set up and ready to go?
So sometimes what happens, their enrollment are not fixed and we can't see them on the system. So we need to assist them with the help from the international admission team. And then they will just get a link to set up their student email, and then they can have access to everything regarding their studies and regarding subject selection, like everywhere regarding their course and subject.
So if there have been any issues in regards to that, they should come straight to you guys.
Yes. So what happens is sometimes we can't find their enrollment. It is because the admission team hasn't pushed them into the system. So there will be nothing in the system. So like when we try to find out, then the student is not with us. So when we like reach out to the international admission team, so they just suggest us that like they have just pushed out the student into the system. So they will appear in within like 24 to 48 hours, and we will be able to assist them further.
Awesome. Yeah. And then ID cards and concession cards. How do we get our hands on those?
So in Brisbane, we have TransLink. So if your student have a, you know, go-kart with the transportation, so they have a facility with the go-kart facility as a discount for the student concession. So they need to apply via going through the TransLink, and then they can put there all the student details, and will look after their application. If they are eligible, they will get the discount for the concession for their transport facility.
And I believe in Melbourne it's called the Mikey card. I don't know if anyone here is from Melbourne. And down in Sydney it is an Opal card. What are they called in Adelaide, Evan?
It has the really difficult name of Adelaide Metro, which is a very complicated.
You know what, though?
You wouldn't even know
It
what
makes
it was
more
called,
sense
would you?
than Mikey
Adelaide
and
Metro.
Opal.
Very creative in South Australia. We are. We like to be very succinct.
At least it's straight to the point, yeah.
And to the point. But it is very to the point. Yeah. Bibek, I've got a question for you, if you don't mind me asking. I know a lot of students ask me sometimes, what's the difference in student services online, so asking a question online, and coming into campus? Is there any benefit for a student to do one or the other? Are there some matters that you think students maybe are better to come to campus with, and maybe some matters that might be better to be handled online?
So what happens is we have emails as well, student services at torrens.edu.au, So we deal with the students on campus, online, via the email as well. So what happens if like students are on campus, we're able to assist as much as faster as they can, because there's a long queue of emails on the student services that is sent via online or the emails. So yeah, that's what I found. I hope
Also,
that
Jess,
answers your questions.
can see you now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank
A
you.
miracle has happened. Everyone can see me. Hi.
Welcome. Well, I'll let you give your introduction quickly now then, since you've been up to join us.
Yeah, no worries. So my name is Jessica. I've done a Bachelor of Business Event Management. Now I'm doing a Bachelor of Business and Marketing, and I'm currently a Student Experience Ambassador as well.
You are also just on time to give a little wrap-up of what the events and activities are going to look like for the rest of the trimester.
Beautiful. Okay, let me just grab my notes up because I fully started everything, so just give me a moment.
No worries.
Super quickly.
In the meantime, Bibek.
Josephine, if you don't mind breaking out into a song, Josephine, we've heard you're a good singer. If you don't mind maybe just humming
We are
something.
happy to hear.
Everyone listening to this would go deaf.
I
instantly.
really want to hear you sing, Joseph.
Instantly.
Oh, we know that, but we still want to hear you sing.
Let's not alienate
Maybe
our
not.
audience in the first episode.
Thank you. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, maybe the last episode, once we've finished everything, then I'll,
Yeah.
just
we've
to
got
end it
nothing
off
to
properly.
lose.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
be the wrap up to our wrap up.
The wrap-up.
All right. All right, beautiful. So, Torrens students who are listening to everything, please clear your calendars and diaries for Friday, October 14th for our biggest national triannual event, our National Day Trips, where you get to travel within your state and have a full one-day experience for $50. This can be boom netting, enjoying some hot springs, or experiencing snow for the first time. And a lot of these experiences are actually valued at $100 plus. So it's absolutely awesome to get to experience these trips every trimester for the same locked-in price. So students in Sydney will get to go to the famous wine region of Hunter Valley, where there'll be cheese and chocolate tastings and a lot of wine tastings. This very trip actually happened 2 years ago, and I remember really enjoying it, so I recommend. Students in Melbourne will be off to Wilson's Promontory for much sightseeing and connecting with nature. And Brisbane students will be off to Australia Zoo, home to the late Steve Irwin and his world-famous family of wildlife warriors. Like, I don't know about you, but I remember watching Bindi the Jungle Girl in my childhood. And now they're also grown up and everything. Where did the time go? And last but not least, Adelaide students will be going off to Kangaroo Island, which already sold out within 4 days, which is absolutely incredible to see. So don't miss out. Grab a ticket. Links to register up on the Student Hub and social media pages of your campus's SRCs, your student representative councils. And speaking of which, please be sure to follow your SRC for more content and events, either national or run by your SRC. And also be sure to be on the lookout for the next Student Voice newsletter in week 8. And for more, follow your SRC Facebook page and Instagram, share the podcast with your fellow students, and you can let us know through those channels of what you would like to see. The SRC, the newsletter, and this podcast would be nothing without our students, because this is really all for you. And yeah, that's everything from me.
Well, that's where we'll close things off for today. Hopefully we'll see you again in a few weeks.